Hi and welcome to another session from Blender Insight. This time I will show you how you can make a scene that looks like an underwater picture using a lot of things in the compositor and a few tricks when you do the modeling. So I will start with making a scene that you can have as a picture when transforming it from a normal scene into an underwater scene. So I start with taking away the cube, pressing X and delete. And after that I will just add something that I will use as stones later on. So I press Shift A, select Mesh, and in that I select the icosphere. But I will not use so many faces, so I take the subdivision down to 1, and that I think is enough for me. And now I just copy that into like 6 different so-called stones. So Shift D and just move it a bit, so GX, and then just Shift D again, GX, and so on until you have like 6 of them. So GX, and I continue to do this. And now I take the last one here. Doesn't matter exactly where they are. I will move them later on. Now I will turn this into stones. So the easiest way to do it is just to select one and press Edit or Tab to go into Edit mode. And here I will right click and I will select Subdivide. And when I select Subdivide, I have something called fractal here. And if I just go in a little bit, you can see what happened when I change the fractal. You will see that it will be transformed a bit using like a random number, and you have the random number here. So this is for 1 and 0, and this is for 1, and so on. We can just use the first one, 0 here, and we can change this shape a bit. And I can also take it down in the scale of Z-axis. So I press S, Z, and I take it down like this, because this will be on the bottom of the sea or underwater, and I will have more flat stones. And I will press Tab again to go to object mode, and we'll do the same to this. So just pressing Tab, right click, and select Subdivide again. And I will now use random seed 1 instead, and I can change the fractal a little bit here, and I can take SZ just to take it down a bit. And now you can see they are different now, so it's just to continue doing the same thing with this one. So just press Tab again, right click, and then go to Subdivide, and so on. So just select random seed 2, SZ, take it down a bit, go back to object mode, and so go to Tab again, right click, Subdivide, and so on. Select number 3 here, take it down just a bit for that one as well, and so on. Now I only have 2 left, so Subdivide, go to like 4 here, and the last one, Subdivide, and so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different stones. So I just select them all and move them away a bit, so just GX a bit here, like that, so they don't is in the way of the camera here. And now I will just do some smooth subdivision of this. So I will take one of those, and then I will do subdivision on it. So I take this and add modifier, and here I will find the subdivision surface, as you can see here. I select that one, and I can just change the viewport so you can see how it looks here as well. So this is the stone, and now I can go to object and smooth it as well, so you have it smooth. So now I want that to all of those. So what I will do now is that I start selecting one of those, and then I hold down Shift and click on everyone until I select the one that has the modifier last. And after that I just press Ctrl L, which means that I now can take that modifier from the last one and link it to all the other ones, and it immediately gets exactly the same modifier. But I also have to smooth them. You can see there are some difference here. So object, shade smooth, and then I have these. I would like to have them grouped into one collection that I will use for particle later on. So I will go up to Scene Collection and right click on that one and select New. Now I have collection 2, so I just double click on it and you write stones like that. And now you can just select all these, so just hold down Shift like this. And now you just take everyone and put it in stones here. So now you can see all of these are in stones. Then you can select the collection here again. Okay, so this is grouped. These are groups here, and now I will make some type of plane here. So I just press Shift A again, and I select, I can take grid as well, but I take plane right now, and I scale it up by 15, S15 like that, so we have a huge area to work on. And now I also need to apply the scale so we don't get anything wrong here. So I go to Object, Apply, and then I select Scale. Okay, and now I need to subdivide that a bit. So I go to Edit Mode by pressing Tab and pressing then Subdivide here. Now change the fractal to 0 again so we don't get any problems here. And we can take it up to 100. And now we can just go out again. And I will also do one subdivision here like that. And to this I will now do like that wave pattern that you have on the sea, the bottom of the sea. So I now go to Add Modifier then, and then I select Displace, and I need a new texture, so I call this I don't know, sea bottom or sea ground. We can call it sea ground like that. And now we have it. We can take down the strength a bit, so we go down to like 0.1. And now I go to my sea ground here. You can see it says sea ground, and I am in the texture. And now I will change the type. So I go to type, and I think I will use marble in this case. So I take the marble here. You can see you get this wavery pattern, and you can change the size of it so you get it more like this instead of having all the small amount. It's okay to have it like this. You can also play with the depth and so on to get it exactly as you want. But in this case, I will just show how it will look with the underwater environment. So I will not put in too much effort in doing really nice stuff, just the method to work with. Okay, so what I will do now is that I will hide the stones, and I will also hide the plane so we get it away here. And as you can see, I just check the eye here. And what I will do is that I will add some seashell or something because it will be too boring just to look at some stones. So do that as well. So I select the Shift A, and I think we can use like an U sphere here, and we increase the segment to like the double to have some pattern that we can use. And now I can select that one, and I can take View Frame Selected, and then we get it here as well. And what I would do now is I want to look it straight forward, so I select X here, and now I have it in front of me, and I press Tab to go to Edit Mode again. Here I think I don't need the bottom part here, and to remove that I will select so I can see right through it. And I will also select the faces. So I select the faces, and I will press Alt A to remove the selection, and then it's just drag here like this. And then everything will be selected down here, and press X and delete faces. So now I only have the top here. And what I will do now is just to select every fourth line here, which I tried to find a way to do it very easy by using select and then check the select and so on, but I didn't find a good way to do it. So what I have to do here is do some manual work, which I hate. It would be good to have it. So I just press Alt and select that one, and then I have free without, and then Shift Alt and select next one, and I will go around doing this like this until I have selected everything here. So I just press it like that, and hopefully I will have everything selected very soon. So just Shift Alt all the way around, and with 64 you have a nice pattern here. And now I will just scale it down, but not on the Z axis. So I will press S and then Shift Z to have it just in X and Y, and then I just drag it in a bit like this. Okay, I think it's enough like that. Then I will move that part a little bit out, so you get that seashell pattern. Select this one, and now I press Alt A to remove all selection, and I go in a bit and I just press C to have this selection here, and just press it once, and then I press Escape, and then I have that selected. And since this now is active, I can just press G and Y, or sorry, G and X to move it in this direction. So I do that, G and X, and you can see I can drag it out here till I think it's okay, like that. And then I just select everything by pressing A, and then SZ to scale it, something like this. And then perhaps I go to this one here and just select the top, and now I would like to have sphere here, and just drag it up a bit so we get a more sphere here. So just G, Z, and something, I don't know, like that. And now we have it here, and we can also do some subdivision on that one to have it a little bit more smooth, and also change the shade here. So now we have something not very professional, but it's okay. We can say that this is type of stone as well, because it will be in that group when we do the details around all the particles. So we just open up the stone. So again, we select the sphere here. We can double click it to call it, I don't know, seashell, something like that. I don't know if that's the English word, but I hope so. And then just drag it to stones, and then you have that in this group here. So everything here is stone. So now I would like to see the plane again. So I click the eye, and it will open up, and I can move this as well. So just G, X, put it away. So now we have it here. So if I now look at the camera, I have something here, and I have everything. Good. So now it's time to place the stones. And when you work with particles, you may know that one of the tricky things with the particle is that it's often go into each other. You can't handle the collision, because every time, the particle will not be controlled in a good way. So what many people do is they transform the particles to rigid bodies, and then they drop the particles down, and you get it to work like that. But the negative part about that is that you lose the force, the power that you have on the particles. So what I will do, I will use another method that still will make the particles not colliding into each other, so they are merged or mixed, but still have their own private space, so to say. And I will show you how you do that rather easily. So I start with selecting the plane, and after that I will select my particles, and I will just start a new particle session here. And yes, we can have number 1000 and so on, but that doesn't matter, because what I will do is that I will change this here from this jittered here into grid, and then I will control it here. But before I do that, I will see, so I will use this group of stones here. And to do that, well, it's you go into render here and you change render into collection. And in the collection, you can see the instance collection here. You have two. You have collections, which is the default, and you have stones. So now I select the stones. Still, you can't see the stones here. So that is because we have from 1 to 200. So it will deliver some stones on frame 1 and more stones on frame 2 and so on. But if I set this to 1 here, you can see that you get the stones already in. Now they are quite small, so what we will do now is that we will change the scale a bit so we can take them up here. And I don't want all the stones to be the same scale, so I just take this up here as well. And now I have some small stones and I have some medium big stones, so I guess you can have some changes here. And I also will do like this. I can take these first away a bit so they don't collide. So I just move them like this, G and something, and then I go back to my plane again. I will now increase a little bit here on the resolution, which will mean that I now will get more and more stones, but it should not be so close so they are colliding, but have some space here. Now, if I look in my camera, it's not so nice to have a lot of very structured stones. It doesn't look natural. So I need to move these, and that is what I will do now. I will change the physics from Newton, which is the normal with, you know, it's falling down and so on, into Boyd's. And when I change that to Boyd's, I can put it in multiply and mass width size here. When I change it to Boyd's, it will be like planes attacking each other, whatever. And you can control how much space they should have, if they should leave the plane and go up in the air or land or whatever. And if I just press it, play here, you can see that they are starting to move in different directions, and sooner or later you will get a nice pattern here, so no problem at all. You can see now they are gone, and that is because the lifetime is very short here. It will take some time for those to move, so we can just put it up to like 400 or something. We can also change the end here to like 400. So, and if I now start from the scratch here, now I have a rather powerful computer. If you think it takes time, you can take it down the resolution of the subdivision or something like that. This is just to show you how it works. And you can see now they're starting to fly up here and leaving the plane, which is rather bad. We don't want that. So what you do then is just to take down the max airspeed. We put it to, I don't know, 0.3, 0.4, something very low. We can also decrease the max air acceleration a bit like that. And if I now start again and do this once more, you can see that it will take more time for that all those stones both to move but also to raise from the ground, because they don't have that speed anymore. And you can see now that it's forming different patterns here, so it may be so that it's easier to just change the camera after a while when you think you have found something. You can say now it's grouping up here, it's grouping up here, and it looks rather good. So what I will do now is I stop the animation here and I press N to take up this view here, and when I press view in this tab here, I have the option to lock camera to view. So I just check this one and I move around a bit until I think I find something that is rather good to look at, like this. And we start to texture these so we get some different stones and so on. So to do that, just go back to this and I select one of the stones and I select this material here, select new, and now you have it here. And I can select preview just to see how it looks. As I said before, this is just to show you about a little bit how it works. I will not put too much effort into it, but so you see it anyway. Just starting, I will think I take some input here, and what I will use now is the particle info. Each stone here is a particle. Each stone can get a random number. So as you can see here, you have random. That means that you can color each stone randomly. So just put in Shift A, and here you will have a converter for color ramp. So put it in here, and you can use the random number, and you can put in different types of colors on your stone, and then you just connect it to the base color. So we can put in, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 different colors here. So take one of those and I have something, doesn't matter, as I said before, it's just to show how it works. So I have one that is and now you would like to have the same distance from everything here, so you can just press the arrow here, and here you can see you have, if I go a little bit closer, it's easy to see, you can see here that you have distribute stops evenly, and if you click on that you can see that every arrow here has a different pattern. Then you can decide if you want to have it more smooth between these colors or if you want to have it constant. So it's up to you. The B-spline is the smoothest. Most variations could be good to have, since we have these stones in many places and would like to have some different types of stones in it. Okay, we also need some structure on them, so I can use the Musgrave here. So I just select Shift A as I did before, and I select the texture, and in that I select Musgrave. So now I have the Musgrave as well, and I must control it. If I don't put anything in the vector, it will be using generated, but I think I take Shift A and I will use an input texture coordinate, and in that one I will select object. And now I will control it with color ramp as well, so Shift A, and then I take a converter and a color ramp, put it in here like this, and now I would like it to control the bump here, so I go back a bit here and I do converter RGB to black and white. It's not necessary, I know that, but yellow to yellow and gray to gray, so that's why I like to put it here. Now I need to have a vector here, so I just put in vector, bump, put it in here, blue to normal there, and now you put in the height here, and you can see you get some things here. We can change things, so we go down with the dimension a bit, we take up the linearity a bit, we take down, we take up the detail a bit, and hopefully we'll see some changes here, as you can see, but now they are going up, so what I will do is put it to invert, and now you can see it's going down, and now I can start to play with these things, so I just have a few that goes down and up, and then I will have also some irregular noise going on here, so I will add some information here. So I just take a new texture, so Shift A, texture, and put in a noise texture like this. We can use object for that one as well. And we put in a multiplier here to have a factor so we can control how much noise we would like to have. So I go into converter and math, and I put in here, go a little bit close as well, multiply, use the multiply here, and now we need to connect that here with that here. So we just put in an add here. So I can take this one, Shift D to copy it, put it in here, and drag that and change this to add here. So now I have everything. And I don't want the strength to be so high, so I just take it down here, and I take down this as well, so we don't have too much of it. And now you can see you have bumps on it, and we can change that, as you can see, and we can also add a little bit more scale on that one. So now we have bumps, and we have those scratches that goes into the rock as well. Could be that I can change it a little bit, but I can click on this one just to show you that you have now different colors on every stone. Now you have some of those that are white and so on, so we have to change that as well, and that is easily done by just putting this material that we have done to all stones. We have just done it for this stone as well, but before that we can double click and we can call it just stone color like this. And now I can just go in here and can select stone color, or I can do like I did with other things. So I know that this one now has the stone color, so I just select all of these, and this one is last, and then Control L. And now you can see you have materials here, and when you've done that, every stone will have the same stone color material here. And if I now press this here, you can see you have a lot of different colors here. One thing we can do more, and if I now change on one of these, all those stones will be changed, is to play with the roughness as well. So I will use the random again, and I will just put it into roughness here. It will be so that let's say green will always be a lot of roughness, and like pink will have very little roughness, but as I said, just so we have something to work with. So let's see, converter, math, like here, put in that to roughness, and we put in a base value that is rather low, like this, and then just take the random right in to here. And now you can see some of these are shiny and some of these are not shiny. So now we have variations in that as well. So that's okay. And the next step we will do now is also to put in something on the ground as well. So we can click on that one, and I think we can do a smooth shading first. So object, shade smooth, like this. And now you see this particle will change, so we just have to run it all over once we are finished, but we can continue with this first. And since I now have the plane selected, I will do a new material for that as well. So I just press new here, and what we should do with this, we can play a little bit with it. So you see it's going up and down, which means that there are some parts that are flat and some that have some angles and so on. So I can use the bevel in a rather smart way, I think, and that is I put in input and I put in bevel here, and I also use a new input, so Shift A again, and now I use the texture coordinate, and I will combine these two by using Shift A again to take this up, and then converter and vector math, and I will take the normal here and the normal here and cross product, and what that will do is that it will use the bevel here to color the things that are more that has more angles. So the flat will not be that colored, but if you're not flat, it will be a lot of color. And to make it work, you will put in a converter. So Shift A, and then you take the color ramp here and put that into the factor. And now you can put in the color here, and you can control it now. So you get a lot of black, or you get white, and you can see now everything is black and white, and you see that it doesn't work. But if you change the radius here, and you can then play with samples. So if you have a lot of samples, it's a little bit clearer, and if you have low samples, it's a little bit fuzzier, and we would like to have it rather fuzzy here, so it's okay to have it like this. And now I can just play with the values here a bit and just change it just a small amount. So let's say that we set this to a small yellow here, or green or whatever, and then we get a nicer pattern here. You can hardly not see it. It's almost like we're using bumps here, but it is a change in the colors, and that is good to have when we're working with this. But we will use bumps as well, and that is for all the grains here, so I will put in that as well. So yeah, selecting texture, noise, take the object from the texture coordinate, put that into noise here, and use a vector and a bump, put that into height and put that into the normal here, and now you get all these, but it's too much and it's too, yeah, I don't know, so put it like, I don't know, 300, something like that. Now you can hardly see it, but take down this a little bit and that a bit, so, and then we just go back with the particles, we let it run a bit, but before that we can go to this here, so because it will take too much time otherwise. So now you can see it starts to move here, and if I go up a bit and I select camera, then it's easier to see when it looks good on this computer here. So I go a little bit closer while it works, until I get a nice pattern that I will use. It's almost magical to look at these, and you can set the distance between them when they're starting to react with each other. So it could be far away or could be almost near, and it could be that they go into each other. It's up to you to control in the particle system. But right now, as I said before, now it's about making this look like underwater environment. So what I will do now is I will just press F12 to render what we have. And you can see we have some stones, we have some sand here and so on. It looks rather nice, but it doesn't look like underwater really. So we have to do a little bit more. And that we will do in a compositor. But before we enter the compositor, I will do one more thing. So I will just press escape here, go back to 3D viewport, and now I'm preparing for the compositor. So what I will put in is a mist pass. So what I will do here is that I will put in mist here, as you can see, as data, and I will let's see if I can find it here. And if I don't use mist here, you will not see mist here. So first of all, select mist here, and after that mist pass will pop up, and now you can control it. But you don't know how much it is until you see it. So before you do it, go into camera, and in camera you have viewport display. So if you click on that one, you can also click in mist, and now you can see mist, but if we just do like this, take some distance, and we can see now where it starts and where it stops. We now can go back to the word here, and if we change, you can see how much you change and so on. So we can say it's going, I don't know, like this, something like that. Because this mist path we can use when we do the compositing later on. So now if I press F12 again to get my image, and as soon as it's finished, I will go to the compositing and do some changes on it so it will look like underwater environment. So the thing I will do now is that I will change a bit how things looks. So now I'm going to compositor. I will change this to image editor, and I will change this to the render result. So here we have it. I can take up this a bit, just so you can see the changes we are doing. And I will press in use nodes here. Okay. Now, what is an underwater environment? What changes do we do to make this look like an underwater environment? Well, often it's like blue or green, but also there are a lot of distortions because it doesn't look like air, it's water, of course. So a lot of distortions we need to put in here. And also we cannot see so far away and so on. Okay, I can see that I've done some mistake here with the shell. I should change the origin for the shell before I put it in. Now you can see it's floating in the air a bit. I do that later on. This is just to show you, as I said before. So, okay, one of the distortion that is almost vital for this is the one that go into Shift A distort, called lens distort or lens distortion. And if you change this dispersion here just a little bit, so 0.05, you see you get this here, and suddenly it almost looks like underwater. It's so effectful. And then you can just change this to minus 0.1, something like that. And then you get it even more. So this is really, really good. The next thing you can do is put in the mist path, because now you have this mist because I put it in before I rendered. So what I will do now is that I will take a color mix. So Shift A, color, and there we find mix. So I go to mix here, put it in, and now everything is white, but I take this mist here, put it into the factor, and now it's not white. Now it's you can see some here. And what we can do is we can take it up to make it a little bit blue. You can take it down, and now when you take it down, you can see that you can see a lot more of the surface or of the image here. But it's so clean, and it's you would like to have it irregular, because there go waves, there are tides, I don't know, things happen in the water. It's not your bathing water, this is a sea or whatever, so we need to have more distortion. And to use that, we can put in like a texture. So I will do that. I will take this part here, select the texture, select new, and I will call this underwater texture or something like that. Okay, and now we need to have something, and I think that clouds will be okay to use. Now we will see how that looks. So I will combine the mist with the texture that I have here to make this a more irregular pattern. So what I do now is I press Shift A, input, and use texture. Here I then select underwater texture, and now it's just for me to mix those, and I can just use the math. So Shift A, and converter, and math, put it in here, use the value from this one, use the value from this one, put it in here, and I can use multiply here. And now you see I get a little bit of that one and a little bit of that one. But we need to be able to control the amount of mist and also the amount of texture. So we put in power to use that. So we just copy this, Shift D here, and also copy this, Shift D here. So now I can control. If I want some more mist, I can just take this up, and if I want some more of this, I can just control it. So you can play with it. If you do it too much, it will look weird, but if you use just a little bit of it, you can get a pattern that works well for you. And you can also, if you want to, change this to add, but then you have to take this down a bit. You can play with it to see what happens until you are satisfied with your value here. And now when we have this, then it's easier to go here and change the value of how the distortion should look like to make it something that you think it's okay. So it's a little bit playing around, trying out things, and you can do this a little bit more blue like that. And now you need some sunbeams as well, so you have something to go down from the surface hitting the ground here. So you just put that in as well, so Shift A, and in filter here you will have sunbeams, and sunbeams come from the surface and it goes down, so we change so it looks like that. We start with using the image, put it into the sunbeams, and while experimenting we can just take it to the image here, and from the start you see nothing because you need a ray length, so we just increase that a bit. Now you see you have ray length, but we also need it to have to go up and down. So this is the x-axis, and then we have a y-axis, so we just increase that a bit, and now you can see it's going down here. I can also let it go a little bit from side, it always looks a little bit better when it comes from here. So something like that. And now we need to combine the result from the sunbeams and the result from the image. So we just put in a color mix here. So just press color and see if you find it. Mix here. Connect these two. And now we just decrease this, and you see now that you have this here. You don't have to use so much, just so you get a feeling that you have it. And if you want to increase it a bit in strength, you can put in a glare as well. So just Shift A, filter and glare, and put it in here and change this to fog glow and take down the threshold a bit, and now you get this a little bit lighter here. You can also change the size to get it even lighter. And as a final thing, you will put in some color balance to control everything. So Shift A, go to color, and here you will have color balance. So you can put it in, and here you can control things, make some things darker and more bluish, or you can take it, do it the direction quite another way if you want to. It's up to you to play with your, see that you get the value that you want to. It's could make it really nice, clean, or you can go more for the green touch of things here. So it's a little bit up to you how you would like to do these things. So, and here if you go down, you will get it more deeper, so to say, and if you go up here, it's more almost near the surface. You can control it like that. So now you can see this is rather nice, I think, in a way. way to do this underwater image. And if you want the sun to go a little bit stronger, then you just put a area light or point light above this model here, so you get some light on the stones as well, and then you also get a lot of reflection. Will look nice in some way. You could see that my seashells was floating, so before I end I can just do some corrections so you can see what you should do if you do it correctly from the beginning. So if I go to layout again and I now select my 3D viewport, what I was forgetting was that this was a UV sphere from the beginning, so you can see now that the origin here is rather low, and that means that it's floating, so just to move that up a bit. So well, do that in that case, set origin, and you just put in geometry to origin or origin to geometry in this case, and now you have moved this. And when you do the placement of these things again, you can see now that the seashell had now got into the ground instead of floating above. And as I said, you can also increase the light here to make it a little better. Just add another lamp, so just shift A and put in a light and an area that you just put it up GZ a bit and then scale it up. Look a little bit where I have the camera, so it's following that. You may move it like this and put in some strength on it as well. Use nodes and then, I don't know, put in like 100 or whatever. And if I go into camera, now look how it looks, then it's easier for me to just put it up here, put in like strength like that, and then just render again, see the result, and I'm finished. So instead of looking like this, now I can show you the different thing like an image editor. Instead of looking like that, it looks like this. This is underwater, this is on the surface. Hopefully you have learned something, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will show you some neat tricks next time as well. Okay, have a nice time. Goodbye.